Welcome to Soul Ascendancy, the space where we explore the depths of personal growth and self-discovery. If you're here today, you're likely someone who has been through the fire and come out stronger on the other side. Someone who understands that not everyone is meant to be part of your journey. And if that resonates with you, then you're in the right place. Today's video is all about embracing your power, recognizing your worth, and stepping into your true strength as someone who can walk away from drama without a second thought. Before we dive into this powerful topic, I'd love for you to engage with the community here. If you feel connected to the message today, take a moment to comment "Game" below, and make sure you subscribe to Soul Ascendancy so you never miss a video that speaks to your soul. Your support helps us keep bringing content that empowers you and others on the path to ascension. Now, let's talk about something that's been on your mind: the strength of your cutoff game. There's something powerful about being the kind of person who can simply walk away from the chaos without a single glance back. You know, in a world where people often cling to toxic relationships and habits, your ability to cut ties and walk away unscathed is something that shakes others to their core. You see, not everyone has the courage to break free from the toxicity that others hold on to. For many, chaos and drama are familiar, and the thought of walking away from it feels impossible. But for you, it's different. Your cutoff game is unmatched, and when you choose to walk away, people are left behind, stunned, almost paralyzed by your sudden absence. The impact of your decision to walk away can't be understated. Studies have shown that when people set firm boundaries and actually enforce them, they experience a significant reduction in stress and an increase in overall happiness. This is because, when you choose not to engage in unnecessary drama and toxicity, you are preserving your energy for things that truly matter. You are able to invest in your own peace, your own well-being, and that's something incredibly valuable in today's world. But why does your ability to simply walk away hit so hard? It's because it forces others to confront something they're not used to, someone who values their own peace over the validation of others. When you leave, it isn't just your presence that they miss, it's the stability and calm that you brought into their lives. You were never just a part of the noise, you were the steady, quiet force that balanced everything around you. The friend who listened without judgment, the person who provided support without needing anything in return, and the one who made others feel safe just by being in their presence. It's easy to take that kind of stability for granted when it's always there, but when you leave, they are left with a void, a hollow space where you once stood. And no one can fill that gap. They can try, but they will always fall short. The truth is, they didn't realize how much they relied on you until you were gone. And now, they're left scrambling, trying to make sense of the emptiness you've left behind. In many ways, your departure is an echo, a loud and undeniable reminder of the strength you brought into their lives. It's not just the physical absence, it's the way your presence was woven into their sense of stability and security. When you leave, it's as though the foundation beneath them starts to crumble, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They can try to replace you, but they'll quickly realize that you are irreplaceable. No one else can offer the same calm, the same understanding, or the same grounding that you did. For those who thrive on drama, your decision to walk away is even more unsettling. Drama is often a form of comfort for people who don't know how to exist without conflict and chaos. They feed off the energy created by arguments, by tension, by unpredictability. For them, chaos is a constant, and they've come to rely on it as a source of emotional stimulation. But when you choose to walk away, you shatter their script. You refuse to play their game, and they are left standing there, trying to figure out what to do next. The thing is, they don't know how to handle peace. They don't know how to sit with themselves without the constant need for drama and emotional manipulation. And that's where you come in. By simply removing yourself from the equation, you've left them with nothing to feed off of. They might try to replace you with someone else, but it will never be the same. You are the one who balanced their chaos with calm, who offered a sense of stability in a world that was always in turmoil. Without you, their drama is meaningless. They might try to spin it in a different direction, but without someone to react to it, the energy just falls flat. Your cutoff game doesn't just affect their emotions, it challenges their sense of control. Many people, especially those with fragile egos, expect others to cater to their every need. They want validation without earning it, attention without giving anything in return, and loyalty without offering the same. When you walk away, you take all of that with you. You take away the validation, the constant reassurance, the sense of importance that they've come to rely on. And in doing so, you leave them exposed. Without you, they are forced to confront a hard truth. They are not the center of the universe. They can no longer manipulate others to make themselves feel important. They have to face the reality that the validation they craved wasn't something they deserved. It was something they took for granted. And now, with you gone, they're left trying to fill the void, desperately seeking someone to prop them up the way you once did. But it won't be the same. The realization that they were never entitled to your attention or support is a painful one, and it will stay with them long after you've gone. For some, your departure represents the loss of the last stable connection they had. Many people live their lives in a constant state of chaos, self-sabotaging their happiness and creating emotional turmoil wherever they go. But when you were there, you offered them something rare: stability. You were the one constant they could rely on when everything else was falling apart. But instead of appreciating that stability, they took it for granted. They assumed you would always be there to catch them when they stumbled, and when you chose to walk away, they were left to face the full weight of their own instability. They might try to replace you, to find someone who can offer the same grounding you did, but they'll quickly realize that people like you don't come around often. You were the anchor in their storm, the steady presence that made them feel safe. Without you, they are adrift, struggling to keep their head above water. And as they scramble to find someone else to fill that role, they'll come to understand that the stability they took for granted was something incredibly rare, and now, it's gone. When you walked away, you didn't just exit a situation. You left behind a void that those you once touched with your presence can't quite understand. The depth of the energy you gave, the comfort, the support, these were things they took for granted. They believed that your unwavering presence would always be there, a constant source of light in their lives. But now, in your absence, they're forced to see the truth. You were more than just a friend or a companion. You were their emotional lifeline, a resource they never fully appreciated until it was gone. And now that it's gone, they are left scrambling, trying to find something, anything, to fill that void. They can't quite comprehend it yet, but this feeling of loss, of emptiness, it's not just about losing you. It's about losing the very thing they relied on to feel whole, to feel important, to feel seen. The emotional fuel that they once fed off, that energy that sustained them, it's no longer available, and no matter how hard they try, they can't just replace it with someone else. They might look for someone new to latch onto, someone they can drain, someone who will offer them the same sense of validation and comfort you did. But they will soon realize that not everyone gives freely. Not everyone has the depth that you did. Not everyone will pour energy into their lives with the same intention and without expecting anything in return. They are left to face a cold reality. They were never as self-sufficient as they thought. You gave them more than just time. You gave them insight, understanding, perspective, a wisdom that anchored them when they felt lost or confused. But now, without your wisdom guiding them, they have to face their own confusion, their own turmoil. They have to confront the chaos they've been avoiding for so long. They thought they had control over their lives, over their actions, over their emotions. But now, in the absence of your grounding presence, they're forced to see that they were never in control at all. Without you, they don't have the answers they need. They can't solve the problems that once seemed so manageable. They don't know where to turn, who to ask, or how to make sense of the world without the clarity you offered. You were their beacon, their guiding star, and now that light has gone out, and they are left stumbling in the darkness, struggling to find their way without the wisdom you so freely shared. What's even more painful for them is that they can't just run to someone else for help. The people they turn to for answers don't offer the same clarity, don't offer the same depth of understanding that you did. Your insights weren't just about advice, they were about seeing the bigger picture, understanding situations from multiple angles, offering guidance that was rooted in experience and a unique perspective. But now, they're forced to make do with shallow responses, recycled advice, and empty words. They know it isn't the same. They know the wisdom they once had access to is gone, and there's nothing they can do to get it back. And it's not just about the wisdom or the emotional energy you provided. It's about the very dynamic that existed between you and them. You were never just a passive participant in their lives. You were someone who actively engaged with them, who brought something real to the table. Your conversations weren't surface level. They were profound, meaningful. You saw people for who they truly were, and you connected with them on a level that few are ever able to reach. You brought authenticity into every interaction, every exchange. You didn't just listen, you understood. And now, in your absence, they are left with hollow conversations. They are surrounded by people who talk, but they don't listen. People who engage, but only on the surface. They might try to find someone else who can offer the same level of depth, but they'll quickly realize that no one will ever be able to replicate what you gave, and that's a loss they'll never fully recover from. But the hardest truth they'll have to face is that they were never as important to you as they thought. For so long, they believed they were central to your life, that they were indispensable. They thought they could dictate the terms of the relationship, that they could control how things went, that they could rely on you to always be there when they needed you. But when you walked away, you shattered that illusion. You show them that your peace, your well-being, your happiness didn't revolve around them, that your life wasn't a supporting act to theirs. For someone who thrives on being the center of attention, this realization is devastating. It's a blow to their ego, to their sense of self-worth. They thought they were irreplaceable, but they now see that they were never as vital to your life as they imagined. You valued yourself more than you valued the relationship. And for them, that's a harsh pill to swallow. In their minds, you were always supposed to stay. You were always supposed to play the role they assigned to you. But you didn't, and that's what they can't understand. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that you walked away without a second thought, without hesitation. They were relying on your loyalty, on your attachment to them, and you proved them wrong. You didn't need them to feel whole, to feel significant. You chose yourself, and in doing so, you taught them a lesson they didn't want to learn. And now, they're left facing the truth that they'll never be able to replicate what you brought into their lives. They might try to fill the void with other people, other distractions, but it will never be the same. They'll always be chasing something they can't quite grasp, always looking for something they'll never find again. You were never just a companion, a friend, or a confidant. You were something deeper, something irreplaceable. And now, in your absence, they are left with the realization that they've lost something that can never be replaced. They are left to face the emptiness they once filled with you. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to comment "Game" below and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the Soul Ascendancy channel for more content like this and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let's continue this conversation, because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is acknowledge the lessons we learn when we walk away from situations that no longer serve us. Thank you for being part of this journey. God bless you. As you sit here, reflecting on everything that has been said, you may find yourself feeling a mix of emotions. Some of what has been shared might resonate with you on a deep level, and other parts may stir up memories and experiences that you haven't thought about in a long time. The truth is, We all have our moments where we give so much of ourselves to others, believing that we are making a difference, that we are needed, and that our presence in someone's life is irreplaceable. But there comes a point where we are forced to face the reality that not everyone values what we offer in the same way we do, and that, at times, we are taken for granted. When we walk away from these relationships, it leaves an emptiness in the other person's life, one they didn't realize they relied on so heavily until it was no longer there. They may try to fill that void with someone or something else, but as we've seen, they are left struggling, unable to find the source of energy that compares to what we once provided. The space we occupied in their lives isn't just vacant. It becomes a reminder of their own shortcomings, their dependency, and the lack of self-awareness they may have lived with for far too long. The moment we choose ourselves, when we prioritize our peace over the chaos and manipulation that may have once surrounded us, we shift the dynamics in a profound way, and the shift, though painful for those who were once in our orbit, is necessary for our growth. It is in these moments of walking away that we send a message not just to them, but also to ourselves, that our worth is not determined by how much we give to others, but by how much we value ourselves. It's easy to get caught up in the cycle of people-pleasing, to think that our purpose is to serve others and make them feel important. But the truth is that we cannot pour from an empty cup. We cannot continue to invest our energy, our wisdom, our presence, and our love in people who take it without appreciation or reciprocation. When we leave, it is not just a physical departure, but a statement of self-respect, of recognizing that we deserve more than being drained, manipulated, or taken for granted. It's in these moments that we finally understand that we are not here to fulfill others' needs at the expense of our own well-being. By choosing to walk away, we set a boundary that says, I am worthy of respect, and I will no longer tolerate being treated as anything less. This is not just a lesson for those we leave behind, it's a lesson for us too. It's a reminder that our energy is sacred, that our wisdom is priceless, and that our presence in someone's life is not an entitlement, but a gift. The realization that we are irreplaceable does not come from a place of ego, but from a place of understanding our own value. We can no longer be the emotional fuel that someone else relies on to feel important or validated. We must remember that no one has the right to drain us, and that by giving so much of ourselves, we often neglect our own needs and desires. It is only when we walk away that we come to understand the depth of our impact. The absence we leave behind is not just a gap in their lives, but a mirror that reflects their own emotional poverty. They may never admit it, but they know the truth deep down. They relied on us more than they realized. And when we were no longer there, they were left to confront the emptiness they had been avoiding all along. Walking away is not about seeking revenge or causing harm to the other person for their lack of appreciation or disrespect. It is not about making them feel guilty or punishing them for the way they have treated us. Rather, walking away is a deeply personal act of reclaiming what is rightfully ours: our power, our peace, and our energy. It's about taking a stand for ourselves and acknowledging that we no longer wish to be in a situation that diminishes us, emotionally drains us, or limits our growth. We decide, consciously and with full awareness, that we will no longer allow ourselves to be a pawn in someone else's emotional games. This means recognizing that we deserve more than to be manipulated, controlled, or taken advantage of by people who fail to see our worth. At our core, we are meant to live authentically, to step into our full potential, and to be true to ourselves without fear or hesitation. It is only when we let go of relationships and situations that do not serve us that we can make room for the life we are meant to lead. By walking away, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, fresh perspectives, and the space needed for personal growth. We give ourselves the opportunity to thrive in our own light, unburdened by toxic influences, and free from the constraints of other people's expectations. When we choose to walk away, we are also sending a message not only to the person we are distancing ourselves from, but also to ourselves. We are affirming our own worth, demonstrating to ourselves that we will no longer tolerate anything less than respect and mutual care in our relationships. We understand that true fulfillment comes from being surrounded by people who appreciate us for who we are, who honor our boundaries, and who offer love and respect in return for the energy we give. And in doing this, we set a powerful example for others. We show them that it is possible to choose self-respect over compromise, that it is okay to walk away from situations that drain us, and that our peace is far more important than maintaining relationships or circumstances that do not align with our highest self. Our peace becomes unnurtured, and we risk losing that deep understanding. We lose it or we become abandoned. Our purpose was valuable to us. In essence, by choosing to value ourselves enough to walk away, we encourage others to do the same. We create a ripple effect, inspiring those around us to recognize their own worth, to let go of relationships and situations that do not nurture them, and to stand firm in their own power. We become a beacon of self-love, and in doing so, we empower others to walk their own path of authenticity and personal growth. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that our value and purpose are contingent upon the approval and validation of others. We can easily get caught in the cycle of thinking that we need to constantly give of ourselves, whether it's our time, our energy, or our emotional support, to earn love and acceptance. Society often teaches us that our worth is linked to what we can do for others, and that selflessness is the one thing we all share in common. The reality is far more empowering. Our worth is not defined by what we give to others, but by who we are at our core, by the essence of our being. We are not on this earth to serve as someone's emotional crutch or to be the person they lean on when they need validation or fixing. Our true purpose is to live as our authentic selves, to honor our inner truth, and to share our wisdom in a way that reflects our integrity and self-respect. It is easy to forget this truth, especially when we have been conditioned to put others before ourselves, to suppress our own needs in order to fulfill someone else's. But the power and beauty of walking away from a situation, relationship, or pattern that no longer serves us is that it reconnects us with our own worth. It is in those moments of stepping away, of choosing to preserve our peace and our energy, that we often learn the most profound lessons about ourselves. We discover a strength we didn't know we had, a quiet courage that rises when we realize that it's okay to choose ourselves, even if it means walking away from someone or something we once thought we couldn't live without. Walking away is not just an act of ending, it is a declaration of self-love and self-respect. It is the moment we stop seeking validation from others and begin to validate ourselves. It is the moment we realize that we are worthy of more than just being someone else's emotional support or source of comfort. We are worthy of being loved, valued, and respected in a way that allows us to grow and thrive as individuals. In those moments, we gain the wisdom to recognize that sometimes the most loving thing we can do for ourselves and for others is to let go. Letting go isn't about failure or abandonment. It is about recognizing that some connections, some situations, and some people are simply not aligned with who we are becoming. Through these experiences, we come to understand the power of walking away. It isn't a sign of weakness, it's a testament to our strength, our ability to honor our own needs, and our courage to choose our own path. Even when it feels difficult or uncertain, it's in those moments of walking away that we learn to trust ourselves, to trust that the universe has a way of guiding us to where we are meant to be, and that by letting go, we are making room for the life we deserve. Walking away teaches us that we don't need anyone's approval to know our worth. We are enough as we are. For those who have taken us for granted, they will eventually come to understand the truths. They may try to replace us, to fill the void with others, but they will find that no one can offer the same depth, the same energy, or the same presence that we brought to their lives. They will realize, though perhaps not immediately, that the space we left behind cannot be filled with anyone else. They will come face to face with the reality that they took us for granted, and in doing so, they lost something irreplaceable. But this realization, though painful for them, is part of their own growth. It forces them to confront their own dependence, their own patterns, and the ways in which they have failed to invest in themselves. And in the end, it may be the catalyst for them to do the work they need to do to grow and evolve, just as we have. The beauty of walking away lies in the freedom it brings. Freedom from the chains of dependency, manipulation, and emotional exhaustion. We often don't realize how much of our energy is siphoned away by relationships or situations that do not nourish us, until we find ourselves drained, depleted, and disconnected from who we truly are. Walking away is the act of reclaiming all that energy, all that power, and all that peace that was being handed away without regard for our own well-being. It is a powerful declaration of self-love, an act of prioritizing our own mental, emotional, and spiritual health above the demands of others. When we decide to walk away, we are not running from conflict or avoiding responsibility. We are choosing to protect ourselves. It's about recognizing that we deserve to be in spaces where we are not constantly manipulated or controlled, where we don't have to constantly give of ourselves without ever receiving the same in return. We deserve relationships, environments, and situations where we can flourish, not just survive. Walking away is the first step in breaking free from patterns of behavior that have kept us stuck in cycles of emotional drainage. It's about choosing to stop being a passive participant in relationships or circumstances that diminish us, and instead, actively creating space for a life where our energy, our peace, and our worth are respected and celebrated. This act of walking away does not just impact the people or situations we leave behind. It sends a message to the universe and to ourselves about the standard we are setting for how we choose to show up in the world moving forward. It is a reminder that we are worthy of being in relationships that are balanced, reciprocal, and nourishing. It's a statement that we will no longer tolerate being used, manipulated, or taken for granted. By choosing to walk away, we are asserting that we will no longer allow our energy to be depleted by situations or people that do not appreciate us for who we truly are. We are setting a precedent for what we will and won't tolerate, and this not only affects how others treat us, but also how we treat ourselves. Walking away opens the door to new opportunities, new connections, and new experiences that are more in alignment with our true selves. It's a bold step into the unknown, but it's one that allows us to begin a new chapter of our lives, one that is rooted in authenticity, peace, and self-respect. When we walk away, we make room for the people, experiences, and opportunities that are in tune with our deepest desires and values. We create space for relationships that uplift us, for situations that challenge us in a positive way, and for the kind of life that reflects our inner truth. Moreover, when we walk away from what no longer serves us, we reclaim our sense of self-worth. We stop measuring our value by how much we give, how much we sacrifice, or how much we allow ourselves to be diminished in the process. Instead, we begin to measure our worth by how we show up for ourselves, how we protect our peace, and how we honor our boundaries. Walking away is not about running from difficulty or avoiding challenges. It's about choosing to face those challenges from a place of strength, self-respect, and clarity. The act of walking away allows us to recognize that we are not obligated to stay in situations or relationships that drain us, and that our worth is not defined by how much we give to others or how much we endure for their sake. Our worth is defined by our ability to stand firm in our own truth, to respect our own needs, and to prioritize our well-being over the demands of others. When we choose to walk away, we are taking back the power that was once handed away to someone or something else. We are choosing to become the architects of our own happiness, free from the ties that once bound us to unhealthy situations. Ultimately, walking away is an act of courage, a courage to face the unknown, to trust in ourselves, and to know that by letting go of what no longer serves us, we are creating the space to welcome what truly belongs in our lives. It is an act of self-love that not only frees us, but also empowers us to continue on our journey with a renewed sense of purpose and direction. Through this process, we learn to value ourselves in ways we may have never done before, and in doing so, we create the conditions for a life that reflects our truest, most authentic selves. As you continue on your journey, remember that your energy, your presence, and your wisdom are sacred. Do not allow anyone to take them for granted, and do not be afraid to walk away when the situation no longer serves you. You are worthy of love, respect, and peace, and the people who truly value you will recognize that. So as you move forward, stay true to yourself, honor your boundaries, and never forget the power of walking away from what no longer aligns with your truth. If this message resonated with you, I encourage you to comment "game" below. Share your thoughts, experiences, or reflections with the community. Don't forget to subscribe to Soul Ascendancy for more content like this, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an insight that could help you on your journey. Together, we can continue to grow, evolve, and create lives that are in alignment with our highest truths. Thank you for watching, and may you always find the strength to choose yourself, to walk away from what no longer serves you, and to live a life that is filled with peace, love, and authenticity. God bless you.